Manden kuk mateme dan me kapte era family hour. Mangwaigel be krokul family hour ada mal dingwa talgibel time. Emo elelakla. Emal lodar sarungu da maul do sued dan wa bakal Dios. Emal merenga sulel. Taklabo kol belwa da blur belal ngilul meskid. Dirang mal merenga suler sel mukte kaningiri ralitan mo adar belaw. Ada mal makasal ada mang mal blool kiri dan mo kakatkak le kasabak le kaubelti kering. Mang mal meron el tutang aria tobet sel okya kargid el al tutao ngartiang amiel al diri ngasira ngamle the guest keynote speaker, a recent environmental conference that we had, and she's here. Lobengela the Lara Tarita Holm, Maradir Belao, Matigangal Rabelao, Ditora BBS, but their Palawan sama era bodol mon man modo ortir lengania tol dilia miel el mal Koramal mlera rungo mal do sugar mal do makkose ka halen me bay kuklo ay sirgi de sera lo mural dadal e ngulo ay selo asengaringar adala ka marbebi ringil sisi erdir belar al selak langar ringi alwaya lul makrangi metegi diel el rungul el girel tia lugel aklangar ablur belaw am luktub logi utirge diel kwan maringira Dirgabay Paula Holm, antiringira Kumangay, antiringira Tiare, and then her mom. And I give them mang akmom sa te ala Tarita mang kukmo muol aniya poldong raw era dolomol mamadodora Miel. Okay.
Sulang senator malungin tuta el mergidrogoy. Di soal ngutialte ale ususan mora ay bidun maraklay marubul belaw ma bilung ma ebiraklay masil belaw marogul other belaw malungil tu tawe kamran masawrate al.
Okay, thank you so much. Madalo ay say kung edbora Miel so mo ay say Miel when you were growing up and then what led you to create the del malungil al product your mom and how she raised and you.
Okay, good morning everyone. So basically growing up with my mom and my grandma and my auntie.
How come, where did you go to school when you were younger?
I went to Maristela Elementary School. I did 1 year at STA, but I finished at Maristela,
okay.
And then I went to PMA.
Okay, yeah. That's wonderful. So
yeah, I was born and raised here in Palau, and I've always been passionate about the ocean. I've always loved swimming and paddling with my Uncle Tino and my teammates. And yeah, seeing my mom and my Auntie T in conservation they've been a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah. Nga kamal matangali ang kagidali Miel growing up. Matangali was she's always been I think you have always been really environmentally conscious. Ang kablo marulaw gigidelo masabakret ya lugel aklangar gid. Magagidelo ay susang kabilal rablo bela mlara skura gagidele Maristela, letara kalblora STA ding tilo da Maristela but blora PMA PMA scholar katilodra ay gayder pala Mission Academy. Woohoo! Kadukok to mura mamar ka elang just a little bit about the raising Miel before we go to her wonderful product.
Okay. Well nga ka Mil Elra Marigel, adra Marigel, and the agim lemuvel berbelar serak ilaw nargig. Aktim lekir belal 3 years sera mid-80s. El moved to Maran American mang flolte makamle akim dokor outsider belaw. Di akim ngal tanga telek mer belar sera 80s. Ma bela mal me kakaros mar other bela di malgot kor belaw. Adala kadim la kalsal malgot kor belar kamam ragim ki kare. Baitel 3 years el ngar belaw. And within 1 year, nga ka my brothers nga kamlo kurasa malakotor belaw. Nga ka ulumdas we udu ilwa say if I raise my kids here in Palau, of course they're gonna all speak Palauan and speak it better than me. Yal ubang maral mlachen sa belaw. Oy.
Amak tilang
and you know, give the parents, I think, take it like it's our fault or something, but I want to push back on that a little bit because in my experience, my mom never really spoke Palauan to us. It's not so much about the home as it is also about the environment. So school was always taught in Palauan. Government announcements, letters, everything was way more in Palauan, and now everything is in English. So it's really it's a tough environment. So I hope our parents and my Ministry of Education can really take a good look at this situation, because I'm so worried that our kids are on track to lose our language. But anyways, long story short, I moved home in 2000 after getting my bachelor's degree. I also have a master's in environment, biodiversity conservation and management. And I've been living here since 2000.
2000. Maluy Iraq, 20 years.
21.
21 years.
21 years.
Maluy natan. I see your work in environmental conservation. Kam tira kamal empower a community. So akmal matraw really. Yeah. Yeah. And so Miel, I know that you're one of the heirs to our ocean.
Originally, yes.
Okay. Let's start. So I wanted to say was kamaral nga niya igel mo uluriol maldim lagi kare ka start ay kitel ko our conservation and taking care of our ocean. Magamil ka rin come up with your tel product tarakaw.
Towards the end of my senior year at PMA, I began to learn more about how most commercial sunscreens affect coral reefs and marine life. And it was actually my Aunt Amanda, who lives in Hilo, who told my mom and my parents about a woman making homemade sunscreen in Hawaii and suggested that this could be a new product for our family business, Palauan Made.
Oh, that's wonderful. Mahal ko ote kamor galia silimo. May kagida loro lang kagida le Miel. And I'm sure they smell fabulous. Tigil lokol coconut pa nila. Miel ang aniya antiringil amandang clean nga hilo. Lulu ay silo sembra doro la homemade. And sa dal tinga rabla emro lay kagida sunscreen ya. A sunscreen na dola bel Miel tapat nga taman tiya madura sils. Ore moliak segi dia kamlo mrulai kaki dia sunscreen. Oh tiaki mang polsebira tirgel arai krel belal matiang arro belal tigidel ngati alo mesrangira local made in Palau clela Pura Vida Palau Reef Safe Sunscreen. Matiang asbedro speen ngin mal edial tamala coral reefs edial tamala marandama alul tamalia adbelbela malungit product. Okay. So mo when did you start making this?
I started making it, I believe it was the summer of 2018. And then I tested it on myself and my family and also my teammates on my paddling team. Since it worked well, then we got the tin containers. We didn't want to use plastic. And then I designed the label and came up with the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ngarabal kultia Pura Vida.
Pura Vida means pure life in Spanish. Okay. And it's a common saying in Costa Rica, which is also where I'm from. My biological father is Costa Rican. Okay. So I wanted to have that part of myself. Yeah.
Maldaring sa story ni malmong ngilaro dumang kagi dalo iso sa mala adra Costa Rica engel biological engel damal mangogiu segi de all alter segi del kuka koraway al connection ngin mara Costa Rica masegi del toyal Pura Vida ngarabel ko pure life mangway al kora mal pure life wal kora Ere Mr. Talam sorry lang lang mo translate rin mang wal ko na pure life mo ko na bukas sentiya ka ko any other artificial ingredients Oy, beliau klangar. Wow, that's nice. Beliau klangar. Mang segi dia ikal lotrulela loru. These are her creations, Ramiel. Makamo ay so you're how old are you now?
I'm 19, but I turned 20 on Thursday this week.
Happy birthday! Makamo ay how does it feel to be young and a businesswoman and you have your own company making these? Kamo ay sumawal ko ay sarar magyakarel adalo kasi wow she's 19 yung niya kumbali rin yung ani tegidel le sunscreen ay.
Feels great and really empowering to sort of have my own business, but I really couldn't have done it with the help of my parents and having my own business license, having that sense of, I guess, independence with making money and yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Makadabong ko ka Tarita your efforts in supporting her and making her into a businesswoman today.
Well, it first started with Siralto Dra High School era 2018. Ang diluro nga kalwa say, Mom, akmal ko ra burnt out with school. Like, I kind of want to just take a break I want to take a gap year. Akong da sa malungil idea rungal ka. I understand, kamle graduate with honors and stuff. She worked really hard, and she also did 1 year in the States. So she went to PMA, not her full 4 years, but I had her go to the States her sophomore year. Actually nga akne 7th, 8th, and 9th grade there belao. Maram Rigel, graduate Ram Rigel, and I just had this fear that she was not going to understand the culture Ram Rigel. I was concerned that maybe the school standards were not good enough in Palau. Makwase, you should go to high school in the States and maybe finish high school there like I did. That's why I say it really helped me, right? And it turned out, I thought she would struggle in school. She did so well. She got 4.0s. She got Legacy of Excellence awards in geometry and biology. She did so well, so I was like, okay, you're going to be fine. Come home. Come home and you can go back to PMA if you want. And she wanted to. Okay. She missed her friends, of course. But she did really well in school. So she came home. After she graduated, I said, yes, that's fine to do a gap year. I actually think it's a good idea since sige dal time hindi mlakalo dingel basing ramral suwakal major ding mang hindi tiluringil basay but use this time productively and then ang kagidal amandal mal friend rangakal tira kal all merbela warrior US Forest Service ang kala Amanda Wolwo bila adra blue up
bila adra blue up
Uluay sira kiral tial brother the loruria dira Hawaii because Hawaii also passed a law banning like I get the sunscreen the sale. Miel was say you want to take this on as your project and develop it for our company and Malkoramlo excited and she immediately started researching on the internet looking for recipes and we bought ingredients so she could try out different recipes and so that's how it all started. And then of course at Heirs to Our Oceans, I just she was the first Palauan heir to start a chapter of Heirs to Our Oceans and get the whole plastic pollution conversation going, which was wonderful. So she was also very committed to not having any plastic packaging, so that's how we came up with the tin can design.
Klabo kaltiam ang kagida tarita lo ay sulwase mang laniata mel flora skura amrigel miel le talala ko milat ko wase bolso el ko koramom tanglia tleta raklanga ramrige hindi ga gidel mo yung malimis lungi latte ngi for o maral lungi ngal school madral se erem lutel merbela hindi malawra nga sule metal ang Dablo already push ra ngal geda matamura college. Yeah, right after high school hindi ko tel mga adulto sister tro kal wasek para so kal take a break kamal dros hindi kamal diungil bay ngani ate elem kor o mesel tegi al business. Ngara mo ka mo eyes. Why do you support that? Ka mulwase maral ko ra di kal sal mo matangalian. Sel kuram les wal mom super ngi ding makaw ko da support taway kay kita wasil nga niya break kalungangal after high school
akmal support them ale nga ka it took me 10 years to finish my bachelor's degree and I really appreciate the time that I took because I also wasn't sure what I wanted to do I just knew it was I want to do something that's going to be beneficial for Palau. That's the only thing I knew. So it was actually my sister, when I finished with my AA degree, my sister Tiari, I asked her, T, what should I major in? I don't know, what does Palau need? She had just moved from Palau High School. She was a teacher at Palau High School, and she moved to EQPB, EQPB, I think, as an environmental educator. And she said, we need environment. I'm studying environment, and I was like, oh no, I really don't like science and math and but I felt like okay, I'll just I'm gonna do my best, and I actually ended up really loving it. So
I'm man sa story raw that you took your time may lakaw tial kurawa or life, a life that you're happy with.
Yes, and let me share too, even though her academically she was doing very well, graduated part of the National Honor Society, high honors. Her passion is art and music and dance, and not so much the academic stuff. And when she told me, actually, Mom, I want to do art. My first inclination was to tell her, no, don't do that. You can't really get a job. I had all of those same kind of reluctance feelings that a lot of parents have when their kids, don't want to do something more academic that you can see a clear path to a good job, right? But I'm happy. I kind of held back, and I was like, okay, no, I want to support her in what she's passionate about, because that's the most important thing. I kind of held back, and I was like, okay, well, let's see. And actually, after her year, she wanted to go off island to go to school. And I was like, no, why don't you just stay and go to PCC? But I'll go off island. And so she ended up going to Hawaii, and she lived with my sister Tiari there, and went to Windward Community College for a semester. And it was a great experience. And of course, we continued making the sunscreen and stuff while she was in school. But after a semester, I'm so grateful she decided, you know what, Mom, I'm going to come home. Because by mal ako masring malklo opportunities rebela. Yeah, and that's why when she came home, we helped transition her to get her own business. So she can continue. She wants to develop more products and stuff while she's going to PCC. So
yung mana nuwiran mo Lawrence Arakawa mga kagita tarital wal salmal ngoreng sarang legel sa ludong algel kung si mga ka tegida ang leswa mong law school first semester ay krelabelaw hindi mo lang mula sinti nga pa iso kalamong telmerme dulo ay sinatra lo sa nga mga kamera akmadang lami lang kamera lungi latte nga ngi Max Smart lang mabtokal awards ending kay dulo ay sinatra lo sing swala dancing. She wants an artist malsual gay diam kamukmo ice, and she loves music. Tell us a little bit about that. Say you go passionate for those for art, being an artist.
Well, I've always loved drawing, as a young kid, and I learned how to play the guitar when I was in the 4th grade.
Oh, since 4th grade.
Yeah, so I always loved singing and performing. Yeah. So I've always been passionate about art, making art, and dancing, and
hindi ako malungin ang karamayas mamakamal support kahawak malungo the experience nga. I'm very lucky that I love what I do. Hindi ko kasi nga si Artobras ko nga ginagandi malmo tiyak that come back to school and finished in one, they didn't take breaks. Hindi lang hatalo rin sa kamera kora club ko sense wala what you have to be passionate and about what you do. Yeah. Then you're happy. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit more about what you do these days in the private sector.
Well, we still have our small company, Palawan Made. Unfortunately, most of our products were really geared towards the tourist market. And when COVID hit, our sales just totally plummeted. So right now, we're still waiting for WIOA. Hopefully it can come through. But we filed in March and we've been waiting since then. So it's a little rough right now for the private sector, and especially those of us who, we're very much targeting tourism and dependent on tourism. Another thing I just want to share, malklol barrier raway ka mamal ngani local products al gimrule. Laringi interest stowang rakwa malol trigal products ra mam. So I'm excited, and we're so happy because it was really Leah and Tiger, and I'm encouraged to say contact JP Superstore. They're very wanting to sell other products from around Micronesia. So we sent them samples. They loved the products. They placed their first order, and as soon as we took them to the post office, aposta wasende kalsabel. Algo nga niya al-arir el-wasende kalsabel los pera post office al-suhu kada senda klal intended for resale. So once they found out that yes, these were intended for resale, they said you have to use you can't use the post office. So this was a major barrier, not just for us, but any producer in Palau who wants to sell outside it. I brought it all the way up, you know me. So I talked to the postmaster. He said, "Yep, this is the law.
Is it
this
federal
is the rule."
Outside of
it's actually a senator, something that was negotiated in our compact.
Oh my gosh.
And it went all the way up to Ambassador Hyatt. Ambassador Hyatt, I heard, said, this is unfortunate. This is very unfortunate, and it should be something that is negotiated when we do compact renegotiations, because it doesn't make sense become self-sufficient economically, and then tools. So she was very supportive, but it really will take a renegotiation of our compact for us to be able to do that. PVA Mandira Kalmal Tamal Masal, they organized a meeting with some of us small producers, a postmaster, and he confirmed that this is the situation. I said, well, what if I just send it to my cousin who lives in Guam, and then they can, bring it to the store? He said, you could probably get away with that maybe the first couple of times, but eventually we're going to catch on and we're going to, shut it down. So, taramal barrier.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? If we had established this, we wouldn't be so destitute now, right? We'd still be able to sell.
Wow. I'm very saddened to hear that. Bring it up.
It affectra dira Scott Weirs. T-shirts so there's definitely a handful of us who are affected by this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. May lang mablabola kasi sentay kang almoriga kita outside the markets. Wow, ay maral temela COVID maral so like your mom said, maral na affected gagidal sales kami through gagidal COVID. But how recent is this? Was this March? This issue of sending?
No, this was last year.
It was last year
that we found out that this is the situation early last year.
Ma'am, so lang for bringing up.
No
Sa
problem.
mukha ng kirel.
Oo, ay,
Paratorio. Lekam imagine ay kel. I mean, akmal ko niya ikat altadol o mol ko ilay gidar ang amalas malwasing nga sabi edel gutmok lol nga se or gidar other belaw al di gidar mo sabi edel nga niya otro le dal dola bel matmok la dalang aklit yal sumo man gikat sabi edel lol traway kay gidel el cloque del doru revela el moray creel vela en wala kat sabi edel ngub siya gidel el support el mera al sela valor vela rata lang akle del lo tuire gel doru especially trigel dirikal marula watala o ma ay gidel handicrafts mo dia kat sabi edel lo to del moray creel vela mo ultraringi mga niya ko other products that you're thinking of coming up with?
Yeah. Aside from the sunscreen, I really want to do shampoo and conditioner bars.
Yeah.
And the most recent one I found was the salt soap bar. Because we also make sea salt. We get sea salt from Ol in Ngaral. So I was thinking we could maybe use that and produce another product.
Yang meron koloreng isang kaya dalaw ay sak masin si eldire kan marulay kal soap and then ang ngariya ay gagi dali tamarula sal ngariya sal salt lorul mandira kal sabira el momrula. Did you say salt bars?
Yeah, salt soap bar. Yeah.
Pira mo sabira el marulay dal soap bars. Mang meron ko ra to kang products lo kagi dala lo daso momrula. Mang meron ko ra mot me arong ke so ta mil ra umam karo rang kalangal kemal bilang so si adel ko ram sub as parents to have a very innovative ngalakal sabi el maldir ka truim eti wargilem mrulay kagi wonderful products.
So lang as Senator, I wish I could take all the credit. But it definitely takes a village, yeah. Like kalangalika kamal big influence from grandma and Auntie T, and I think akmral ngal tanga ka the typical Belaw, I think. I'm just hearing this as I'm in my 40s and hearing from my friends and she's very affectionate with us and very supportive of us. Mom, and so and also listen to her, growing up with my mom, she always reminded us to be mindful of our responsibilities, to Palau and to especially to Ngartmao. So we really grew up with that sense of responsibility and always looking for how can we contribute, how can we do things and not so focused on money. So I think that's another big thing that we need to.
Kamal masaw kisa mo sa other sige nga kadira kal diakal gira dal diom das vertial ludo.
Yes.
Aklang arigi da bay gira dal losigra above happiness. Those should be I get dosi diakal salmal di dosi gaudo din. I see that in your life. Kakawa ko tal kora a very peaceful existence. Can you expand that? Tangay kita lo ay sosya dala lablo lo ring sertir se lo do. Ya kung daso siya mag global goal. Ira dal kayo ring skido mangalge de o gertir mo rasumil momrul. Ba kaya kita lo ay silo asing lugro lo pasigi diel el dia kal lo el kayo ring ski madalala ngania al do ora dolong lir. Can you kind of expand a little bit on that? Sige, hablo al community-oriented project, hablo al koratia kamsal. I mean, because of ngaten, kaya kamo.
Yeah, well, I think I don't know, maybe because agim lang barda, so it was just how we were raised while we were there. But malme supportive of I played softball as a kid, and she would always, you know, be at all my games with a ton of our Palauan family cheering, you know, for us. So malme feel supported and confident. When we moved to Palau, I must say, malme culture siya yeah, so it was very difficult, but I really, after the first year, when we could finally speak Palauan, I loved it. And when I moved back to the States as a 14-year-old kid, I was a little Palauan girl. I had completely changed. I was chewing betel nut. I was speaking English with a Palauan accent. And I had even worse culture shock moving back to the States.
After
So akmal and I hated it in the States. Akmal, I knew from then alwase, as soon as I'm done with school, I'm going back to Palau. I missed my cousins. I missed Ngartmao really. Akmal fell in love with my community in Ngartmao. And I wanted to get back as soon as possible. But I think because Senator, I've been straddling these two cultures my whole life. Obvious to me, the difference is pros and cons of each. Ulmaknes shower said slide environmental symposium. Because we have very conflicting value systems. Our other mal independent, right? The other Belao, we know the truth. The truth is nobody's independent. We all depend on each other, and we all depend on this earth for our living, for our very survival. So this whole independence thing is not real. And it leads to a lot of isolation and loneliness and just life for me. I mean, I choose Belao because there's purpose here. You know, so I'll contribute something with my life. I don't just want to make money and pay bills and live for just me. You know, so ngani sige the difference. I think our other Marigar Elang are starting to realize what they've lost with this pursuit of never-ending economic growth and focusing way too much on money and individualism, that they're actually trying to figure out a way to get back to community and get back to that kind of what we already know.
Dimla tele trairo ara la other velo mala chegi de lo gonia tarita se kida del kera al sela egal clau other kid girel ngania connection kid kida del malmol mal qausis pe gain seu al adra egal belu dia gal sebet al gukti leak al gukti om dasul wasingara amo ulakar karinge ke makarabok ngakal imol adbol lungil basukang gire de lomes arangale laigal clubli le dama al sila balwat sehi dia gire dal mo o malmol maringi ngalwol maringi community power etial ndira kal dama kal adra Marigel. He grew up during the Depression time, 1928. Say true happiness comes from serving others well. And so akmal say, well, Amerigela, there's millions of people, they're fine. Do what I can and contribute to among maral vai sia sel kotal klol do wilar nguta kire dal bai mashorar adang arbitargid mga mokar other bitargid segi dia mo ngilak sabi emonwa ngil klangar rakaw really a Christian principle mashorar
mal interesting Christian principles amal aligned with our traditional values. Our traditional core values.
Bakaw to bakaw madi matadora reflections of you growing up in Palau and how that has influenced you. Makukoraw the swim about the issues facing young people in the private sector, you know, challenges that you have encountered as a businesswoman. Shaman share.
I think one of the biggest challenges was what my mom said with the post office, especially during this time with COVID. Our sales have really gone down locally because there aren't any tourists. But a lot of people have messaged our Facebook page asking if we can ship to like Taiwan or Hong Kong or Guam. There haven't been any messages from the States, but mostly in Guam and Saipan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, asking if we can ship so that they can sell at their store. But unfortunately, the post office doesn't allow us to ship for resale, so that's a big barrier. Also, one of the things that I want to hopefully get done is have my sunscreen be tested, have a SPF testing. So it hasn't been officially tested, but it ranges from like $15,000 to $20,000 for it to get tested. Wow. So it's really expensive. Yeah. But I think what's helped me so far is really the support of my parents and my family, and helping me order stuff online and talk to different stores to help sell the product.
Mga kita mielo ay selo si segitiel la masang nga al sila compacta tolong leti kita mabrige el polwasen ti kal sabe el marula akral rabelur bela e ol duro kologi wa post office al suko mang mo otru rabelur mabrige masegi dia ul mo de kal sabe el senda gagi el items el mang kagida mielo ay selo sing malwal maringiring la modia ar turista mang milat kalwasin seb el kukol trawl morabelur ar wakwam ending ti kal sabe el ngara lol duro krasko gil mo trawar ay kagitali ebelura mrigel mang seguida tira kalwal ta challenge mang gina dal mo mga author tirigel ngat yale compact negotiating team tira nga compact negotiating team mo pul sub iral mo address sa situation mang lagi na para mga author ma vice president o low low ice ring was it tagi da tara challenge al mal well low ulama business er may karel mar other ngar bela al malak kam mo rulo otruli ra mo de kan sabihin le expand beyond the market kita sila bela.
I see.
I see. Wow, it's like you used the post office at those pelol duro krakral wel mora Taiwan those two different locations malsum seguida lula post office ang pula sang maldigero lelem mo trabajo kay krel bela.
Malmo cost prohibitive. Malmo imisan maring nara.
Mo bring laran. Why say? En kagi datal milga datul wase tira kalda kal soril kor o mola ka maloduro kal mora akasa na ni mal ubang murang gel sister ngi tira lukok lang arserol tralang adiu 1 and 2 times always sa post office la mom ner paset yang raw ulumang ngora malbot to kay kal walol duro kal morang kalo sisul.
Akle ask it lilwais.
Oy mang sige dia mat meron kom los wilo ay sel total sige the challenges like where the masada economic development and maybe the other belawe sige that tarawal mat close barrier.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Anything else you wanna say rawera pura get shout outs about either plans or what the challenge, or you've already talked about challenges, but anything else you want to touch upon?
Well,
maybe I got like invitations and more Fiji.
Oh yes. Or thank you.
Oh yes.
Wonderful.
Was this last year?
No, last year.
I was invited to go to the Pacific Women's Entrepreneurship Forum in Fiji.
Yay!
So that was a really great experience, and I got to talk about my sunscreen and how this sunscreen bill got passed, what I've learned, and stuff like that. I also want to mention that currently I'm at PCC, but I'm also working under PVA, under their reemployment program as an artist.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, along with other young artists doing murals around Palau.
Oh,
So
malungit.
this is like my first actual job, like paid job, and it's really nice to be doing art and being paid for doing art. So.
Yang mga, wow, meron ko rong si Miel, kagi dal klokle, kagi dal sunscreen, ringi lurul, yang ogi tegi dal sunscreen yang lo sabi lo ra meeting ra Fiji, giri rardi lal ngara low showbay, manglo ol tegi dal product ringi. Edire kal al time mga skura PCC sabi logi wa PBA yang udo dale mrula artwork at tamara el kora mrula mural ra sila. Ika sunga ika gidale. I've seen one na bitara airport.
Yes. We just finished the welcome sign at the airport, and we're almost done with that tin wall in Irai.
Oh.
And we're finishing up a mural at Core Elementary School, doing a pelagic fish, working with the TNC. Yeah. So we have other schools to do.
Oh, so exciting. Mga gido ay susel ang murur sel malsuan murur ringi lo sunga. Mga ringi gido project tani semle ang arbitara airport alol kay mong welcome wall. Or a welcome
to Palau.
Aring ganda dilal kora ariuta. Oy. Sel the top the airport do mesel dira ka ngani already ngara kora elementary school lo so nga pelagic fish ay gal ngi gal marara tawa al kalmal. My gagi dale. Well, your other project was you had a second project that you talked about. Airport, Core Elementary School.
We're finishing up there's a tin wall in Irai.
Whereabouts in Irai?
It's at that JC Auto Shop or something.
Ngarbitara shop. Nga give. Ma sige di so she's now doing what she really enjoys and getting paid for it. That's Kamal Masaw, thank you for sharing that with us. Anything else that you're on your plate? That's some more shout outs for our closing.
I'm just open to whatever work that I can do. I'll help Rebela. I was working with my state government very part-time. Alo lang sira governor kamamra tora governance sila state government. But also because of COVID, I'm no longer working with the state government. I'm just volunteering now. I'm open to working.
You're kind of like an environmental consultant.
Yes, I can work as an environmental consultant. And so I'm kind of looking. We're not really doing school photography anymore. But we're able to. We still do Emmaus Gospel Kinder.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but that's once a year we do Emmaus. But other than that, I'm also sometimes doing work with CI, Conservation International. So.
Yeah, I know you've done a lot of also Transparency International kind of work.
Would like to. Transparency International is very hard to get to come to Palau. But very much interested in governance, environment. I also serve as a board member on my state's conservation board, OSCA, and also our Planning and Zoning Commission. So we've been trying to finish get our state's master plan approved for a long time, and also working through the land use planning process.
So, outside the sorry, get in touch with like outside of Palau, what do you have either a Facebook page, an email, or
Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah. Miel Sequeira Holm.
Okay, so you can click Miel or Facebook and she'll reach you if you want more information about this. And or get in touch with her, Miel.
Oy, nga maktira ka nga Facebook. Also in the phone book.
Tarita Holm.
Oy. Yeah. So it's easy to find us.
Hindi ako maral misulan mal tero nga meron mo kal mingat utuar kami waka I'm so glad that this morning I had a conversation with my daughter Logier was EIS. And we say she's 14. Magim los tatal masaw dani kung raw ready la other marula EIS an environmental impact statement because she's kind of wondering kung this singarang mamrula wolklo going to college. Mahmuni ko kasi ako ta club ko lagi rin do something that you're that you're happy to do, and I'm so fortunate that malorang asulala Dios because I do what I love to do. So I mean, senator I also enjoy and I excel pagi sa tutak malorang asulala Dios that I'm doing something that I enjoy mangkorawal la kalorior. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you're and kung da siya sige dahil abay ko tal global ko to find happiness and purpose sa lorior morori.
Why say? Maral masaw laro ba ke udo honestly maral whenever I think I'm stuck maral plol nga niya something comes through. So I give maral nga tangat, and it really is I think about doing what you are passionate about, and also what is your contribution, say the spirit of contributing to something bigger than ourselves, what that global goal.
Ay kamran misal kamal tarang isra kamal mo ngilaro mo kamran to that our life should really gira dal tonge tal girira adrabalwad or yes.
Can I just say one thing? Akmal short at time slot nga women's conference. I mean at environmental symposium. But it's the thing about money.
Yeah, please, I'm looking myself.
Money, it doesn't even matter what system. Is it capitalism, socialism, communism? Money, by its very nature, it changes us.
Yeah.
And it changes our values. And so, that we don't make our goal money, right? Our goal should be the whole purpose of what money is supposed to do, right? Unfortunately, we made our goal economic growth and making sure our GDP was always growing, right? But that's the trap. The goal should never have been money. It should always be, are people okay? Do people have their basic needs?
Yeah.
Are we living in a way that doesn't go beyond the threshold a planet that is? So shuga ngarigid makatadira kan fall into this. It comes with values, and it's also distracting us from the real purpose of alsa. Sometimes meeting ram asil belaw gureng sertiral maas al masadar tel issue gidra kamendil wasing mal. It's getting out of control. Over 200,000 for one al. But we're putting a lot of stress and pressure on our people as a result of the families. Matawa saying, it was never supposed to be like this. Is to honor the person that died, comfort the family of the people who are mourning, and also to bring greater unity amongst us. But what's ending up happening, because ako mesring maludo daw sa laborang DJ lang kadamal plakano the loring sara announcement raw though to the point where hindi sal clo attention on the real purpose, right? And marmasa masa dal was say maybe namogira dal cap dal was say kada askra families to announce dal was saying mral tela bal selang kalado ra target amount dal dolas man al mo dringi. The stop once we reach that point. So I think Marigel mandira kal ngara osisil teletal. Instead of looking only at the money, now they're starting to look at what are the other social indicators. Lomes to make sure the whole point of all of this economic activity is for the people. Kidal mabela mang waise. Also makada developer belao only for the money. Kidal other bela will be replaced very quickly. Mangkira dal karikra population rigi the economic activity rigi, then make sure that it doesn't unintentionally result in other bela mosoril tob than marada. Yeah, I just really wanted to make that point.
Kamal masala tarita mga kagidam lan mutal wayalo ol si esel tolwa singire dal mutal momi sa igal talita rigi dara kamal dile dale kamal dila doru ringi le ta kabul tigare ngal kawaf ma kay ngasew indi elang mlamo korawaya do ati do meso kong abal duol se rigi dara lol kol mulwa se mal momring ara gidar ade momal aswarse sel kamdek ma se tarwata nga suffer it's the children le kamong logi ngali mal klolo do dram asang dia ka olu sel obaral mo sila ngalike kalel mora school, so the children are the one that suffer. Le tira dia kal mega decision or sel spending around to de la family income lo aseng mortgage. Kay gel girel mora ngal ka amo oitel mora kay gidel maklol masay malungila masilbela conference is coming up. من سيدا الأمم غض أضوء الجيل السيد التاجد الملاك أنت قد التالتريتا بطوع بلاك نستريل وسيغل الجيل المو أو مثل وسيم مالتيلا سيلبلالس ملغضو ضلا مال مقلول وضو ذل because I've heard situations الواسيل قندم لأي مالتيلا لابلال سيميل وضو الأغوي ذل تيلا الوضو so being أكمل thank you for bringing that up. Sam let tingel ang gigi del boy kal lartiang al rabolo the Mr. Giro which is a Krapalay school that made me cry. Diron mo luwase seldosa the economic development te masado luwase telang a hotel rooms. Telang a tourist del merbelo. Moy dirado mes luwase yar magigarel at the youth of Palau. Ngarang irtir ngarato spe ang magarado lisi irtir ersel economic development plan rablor bela mga amral gire del motel mo reassess ya mal masaula Dios letial COVID-19 is turning into a blessing si edel reassess to our community so singara si idar mul gire am kikarel adra rablor bela mang kamral masulang arsegi mela ma shout out. So I'll begin with you. People that you want to say, Ali, komal masulang, komlang usukak in my growth, in my business. So, kabong yamiet.
Well, aside from my mom and my dad, I want to thank my auntie Tiari in Hawaii, and also my uncle Tino, who's also my paddling coach.
Yes.
Paddling has really helped sort of contribute to my love and passion for the ocean. And also to all of my friends and also people on my paddling team who were supportive of my sunscreen product, like posting it online and sort of encouraging people to buy. And shout out to my grandmother, Paulang, who's always been supportive and encouraging me, to my grandpa Harry, also for his support, and just for to my family for raising me.
Amen. So shout out to mura familia Miel malra Pierre Peseus makwan panira Harry mangkagi dale grandma ringira Paula. Kadong to for ko punyeta your shout outs.
Sula aktira kal malso kal shout out to first to my mom, tirang rabay Paulang, for always being such a great mom.
Amen.
And also to Adamakal Aichi, Kumangay Rabay, Lamodibus, and I learned so much from him. And Also want to shout out to my sister Tiari because she really was sort of my role model in life and still is. And she moved to Hawaii a couple years ago. Really hope we can bring her back home to Palau. And also to my 3 brothers who also live in Hawaii. Shout out to all of them. I grew up with 3 older brothers, and it was rough. But they made me tough. Albert Holm, Mike Holm, and Mark Holm. And then last shout out, I just want to give a shout out to the Taiwan Technical Mission. The head of the Taiwan Technical Mission was a man named GS.
I love GS.
And GS was so wonderful. And really, we started this small business of ours because of GS, because GS encouraged us and explained how important it was that we Palauans own our private sector. So big shout out to GS as well.
GS, yeah. I remember GS. Galilutan rin ma Taiwan niya.
I think ang Marshall.
Marshall. Malumutan mo rin GS. Shout out to GS. Okay, Madang Kamal Misulal Teru, mother and daughter, thank you for being here on Family Hour. Meron ko mga tatuwa kong miyuma seguida lo laklat ko sing kita malblo kayo rin sa kita marang alikit seguida mo Family Hour gid manex ya Dios solo makaltangap targid ro ko next week.